Hello everyone. Today we are going to see about this history of science and technology and introduction. Let us see one by one. What do you mean by science and what do you mean by technology and science and technology through the ages. First, let us see about what is science. We all know the science is an organization of facts based upon observation and generalization arranged in an orderly form. This is the meaning of science. What do you mean by that? Organization of facts based upon observation. Then it was generalized in an orderly form. So the word science, it is derived from the Latin word scientia. Scientia means what? A definite knowledge. In the modern usage, science was considered a certain kind of knowledge obtained by observation and testing of facts about the physical world as well as natural laws. In the modern usage, science, the term science covered certain kind of knowledge by observing and testing of facts about the physical world as well as the natural laws. So in total, in simply telling, science is the sum of human knowledge. Sum means total. Totally about the world, the universe, the human knowledge, in which the human knowledge in particular field. Particular field means whether it is physics or it is chemistry or it is biology. So, science is a story of man's progress. Man's progress in understanding the world and the forces of nature. Forces of nature, you know, the rivers and the seas. These are all the creation of nature. That is, nature endows as human resources as well as natural resources. This is the story of man's progress in understanding the world and the forces of nature. So, the prehistoric men in the history of science and technology, the prehistoric men began to observe the sun, the moon, the stars and the planets and made painstaking process of inquiry. Next, we will see about technology. You know, already we have seen science. This technology is applied science in the use of mechanical art. Simply telling, science is in action. Science is in action in which scientific laws are applied to materials drawn from nature and the artifices and the artifacts are produced for human use. That means technology is used in science. By that we get some use from science. Okay. And it deals with, this technology deals with the instruments and the different techniques. You know, from the word techniques, technology is derived to be used to execute work. So, the application of science has practical use in industry. Science is interwoven with the technology in every aspect of human life. That means, in our life, the science and technology, these two are the most essential things. By that we can get a sophisticated life. So the next one is science and technology, the role of science and technology in human progress. Next slide. The role of science and technology in our day-to-day life played vital roles in the development of human civilization. The science and technology played an important role in the development of human civilization. From the ancient period, you know, girls, you have studied about this world civilization. This civilization arose in the beds, river beds. In the ancient period, man led the nomadic life. Nomadic life means what? Wandering here and there. And ignorant of agriculture, he didn't know about anything about agriculture and animal husbandry. He has to depend upon hunting and food gathering for survival. This man, in the ancient civilization, we heard lot about from the civilization, and in that civilization, that is, in India, the Indus Valley civilization, and the Egyptian civilization, and Mediterranean civilization. In all these civilizations, we came to know that the ancient man led the nomadic life. After the discovery of fire and wheel, once he was a food gatherer, but due to the observance of facts in around the environment, he was changed as a food producer. So this was a period of man's struggle for existence. In that surrounding atmosphere, he made tools in crude form, based primarily on trial and error. And by these development, the man, once he was a food gatherer, then he became a food producer. So constantly, by these experiments, by these experiences, he constantly replaced the crude forms of instruments, which marked a great step on the road to science. The next, in the prehistoric period, man began to make tools enable him to survive and then to establish mastery over the other creatures of land and sea. Man led many thousands of years nomadic life and immersed in superstition. Science through experience in several centuries worked to improve his life from the animal stage to a cultured man. This means the primitive people believed illness was due to evil spirits that entered the body. They believed like that. But after, to treat those diseases, they tried either to frighten off those spirits or to appease them. They constantly searched about the remedies, but science only changed them from cross superstition to rational thinking. The prehistoric men, the primitive people, they believed in superstition. But by experiences, and he had rational thinking, and he began to think about what, when, and where, how. These are all the things, the science, the initiative and interest taken by them changed their outlook and widened the horizon of knowledge in every field. And let us see about science through the ages. The ages mean from the, prehistoric men, he believed in superstition. By experience, he get knowledge from the surrounding atmosphere. He made himself as a rationality. He went to rationality. So, in the science, how this science developed through the ages. The Stone Age, the Bronze Age, and Iron Age. These are all the ages represented distinct advance in man's social level as a result of new technologies and new techniques of food production. On the river valleys, he got a settled life, and from that life, he learned new techniques of production by the domestication of plants and animals. This led to scientific advancement in the history of mankind. So, it was a hallmark of human success to move towards civilization. That in that period, he came to try to establish a settled life, and then he came to know about the tools tools of production, and domestication of plants, discovery of fire, and discovery of wheel. These are all the things, things in human civilization as the hallmark of human success. And the use of metals. They also came to know about the use of metals. Making tools made great progress in science. So at the dawn of history, the first traces of man's civilization emerged in the river valleys of the Nile, the Tigris, and the Euphrates. The ancient inhabitants of Egypt and Mesopotamia, they made scientific enquiries and inventions. Their accumulated experience guided the human activity. That is, in the civilization of Egypt and Mesopotamia, that is on the rivers of Euphrates and Tigris, the ancient inhabitants made scientific enquiries and inventions. Their accumulated experience guided the human activity. So the first race of men to undertake scientific enquiry were the ancient Greeks. You know, girls, the Greece was the mother of European science. So in this way, the first race of men to undertake scientific enquiry were the ancient Greeks. You know, you heard about the Greek philosophers, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. These three philosophers, the teachings and philosophical works of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle brought the true spirit of scientific knowledge. And the end of the Hellenistic age marked the beginning of the Roman age. You know, the war between Greek and Rome resulted in the beginning of Roman age. The Hellenistic age means in Greece, by the war between Greece and Rome, the Hellenistic age came to an end, the beginning of Roman age, because Rome had become the political master of the Greek world. They assimilated the Greek knowledge into Rome. So the 476 AD, in the 476 AD, the Western Roman Empire, the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 AD marked the beginning of Dark Age. Dark Age means what? In that Dark Age, no scientific spirit among the people. In that age, people immersed in superstition. There is no single spirit of scientific knowledge. So the Roman science was a reflection of the scientific spirit of the Greeks. I said before that the Greeks period came, the Hellenistic age came to an end, and Roman science was a reflection of the scientific spirit of the Greeks, and the Muslim conquest of a great part of the Mediterranean world and Asia in this period preserved the ancient philosophy, the science and technology of the ancient Greeks and Romans. So in the ancient India, ancient world, the first people who came with the scientific spirit were the Greeks. Greece was the mother of European science. So from the Greeks, the Romans accumulated, they brought the knowledge of the ancient Greeks. So this was the condition. In Asia, India and China. In Asia, Europe, you know, the Greeks, the Greeks and the Romans. And in Asia, India and China rendered a valuable contribution to the progress of science and science through the ages. In the 15th and 16th century, there was two important incidents, two major developments changed the course of world history. World history, what are the two events? That is the geographical discoveries and the Renaissance. How these two events helped? What was the reason behind that? That is the Ottoman Turks captured Constantinople in the year 1453 AD. This was a major event in history, made profound impact in science. What are the two events? The geographical discoveries and the Renaissance. These geographical discoveries led to the discovery of new world, discovery of new places, and the Renaissance. Renaissance means rebirth. In this age of Renaissance, that is in the 15th century and the 16th century, the printing press was invented. John Gutenberg, he invented the printing press. But what was the impact of this printing press means? This printing press revived the old manuscripts and disseminated the scientific spirit among the people. This is the most important impact of the discovery. The printing press was invented by John Gutenberg. And the discoveries of Copernicus, that is in the Renaissance period, they were called as Renaissance scientists. The discoveries of Copernicus, Galileo and Kepler liberated men from age-long superstition. This is the most important event in the history of science and technology. Copernicus, Nicholas Copernicus, he was the founder of astronomy. We call him as the discoverer of heliocentric system. And Galileo Galilei, he invented the telescope to study astronomy. And Johannes Kepler, he gave planetary motion. What do we call planetary motion? In the 15th century. And the establishment of science academies. After these discoveries, the science academy in the world, that is in the world history, in England, the Science Academy, the Royal Society of London, this society is doing a wonderful service for science. And the French Royal Academy, these two are the establishment of science academies. These science academies, they recorded the discoveries of scientists, as well as they made a great contribution to the progress of science. In this age, Isaac Newton, the treatise of Isaac Newton was the keystone of scientific revolution. What was he invented? The gravitational force of the earth, the law of gravitation. So Isaac Newton, he was a father of physics. Robert Boyle in the field of chemistry, and William Harvey, he discovered the circulation of blood, and Marcello Malpighi separated these scientists. They separated physical as well as medical science from religious dogmas, that is religious domination and the superstition and natural philosophy. And what are all the astronomical discoveries? Galileo, he invented telescope to study the planets and stars. And Johannes Kepler, he framed the laws of planetary motion, how these planets are working, how these planets are moved around the sun. And Nicholas Copernicus, he was the Polish monk, he belonged to Poland. This Nicholas Copernicus, he established what theory? Heliocentric theory. Heliocentric theory means all planets are revolved around the sun. Sun is the center of the solar system. In the period, in the age of Renaissance, in the 15th and 16th centuries, these philosophers, these scientists established their theory. That is Isaac Newton. The age of the key to scientific revolution, Earth's gravitational force. And William Harvey, he invented the circulation of blood. So these are all the great scientists separated science from superstition. And in the 18th century, in the history of science and technology, this 18th century was another important development. What was that? This is in this period also there was an important event. What was the important event? Means the Industrial Revolution. You know, science was applied to, in this period, science was applied to industry. Man began to invent machine and his technical and scientific knowledge to improve the material conditions of life. In this age, man began to invent machine. So the Industrial Revolution, due to this availability of machines, the Industrial Revolution started in England. This Industrial Revolution was an incomparable event in the history of the world. The Industrial Revolution made colonialism and this capitalism. These are the two important effects of Industrial Revolution. So, what were the important machines? The steam engine that was discovered by James Watt, and many inventions in textile industry. In textile industry, many inventions. For example, to separate the seeds from cotton gin introduced novel ways of working and living conditions of the people. And in that age, Henry Cavendish, Joseph Priestley, and Anthony Lavoisier carried out scientific research in chemistry in a systematic way. And they gave a new outlook. In that period, they gave a new outlook in astronomy. The Uranus was discovered. The Uranus planet was discovered in that age. And this called Linnaeus. He classified plants and animals. He made a scientific method of classification of plants and animals. This was a new beginning in natural history. And the scientists slowly began to search for the causes of disease and discovered medicine. And the scientists, they learned more about the human body, and they discovered a useful method to treat and prevent horrible diseases like smallpox. So this age brought new discoveries and inventions. So we call it as the age of revolution in science. In the 18th century, they were the discoverers called Linnaeus, the father of taxonomy. Anthony Lavoisier, in the field of chemistry, his most important contribution, the discovery of oxygen. And the next person discovered hydrogen in the year 1766. And this in the 19th century, this was a very important period. In the 19th century, the great scientist Charles Darwin, the discovery of electromagnetic induction. In that age only, the discovery of electromagnetic induction brought a new era of human progress towards the advancement of science. In the scientific field, the discovery of electromagnetic induction created a profound influence. And Charles Darwin, his contribution to biology, shook the religious belief of God's creation of the world. Charles Darwin, his contribution to science, the descent of man, origin of species. These are all the books written by Charles Darwin. And in that age, the scientific wonders, electric lamp, and Thomas Alva Edison, he discovered 1008 inventions, and the more important one is electric lamp. And then railways. We know that the railways is the biggest industry in economic development. This railway was invented by George Stephenson. And the gramophone. And these are all the things, the scientific wonders, we call it as scientific wonders, they had profound influence in human history. And the steam vehicles, petrol and diesel have changed the primitive mode of transportation. And the communication revolution, that is communication revolution, that means the communication information technology. The information technology commenced when telegram and telephone were invented. When this telegram and the telephone were invented, the communication revolution commenced. The advanced method of medical science has saved the lives of thousands of victims from early death. In the field of medical science, the germ theory of Louis Pasteur and the discovery of anesthesia by Simpson, and the antiseptic surgery, Joseph Lister, opened a new progress of science in medical science. That is, in the medical science, this is the, about this Louis Pasteur. He invented germ theory, and the anesthesia that was invented by James Simpson, and the antiseptic surgery, father of antiseptic surgery, we call it as Joseph Lister. These are all the essential in the field of medical science. So, in that period, all-round progress in the field of medical science, chemistry, physical science, so we call it as this age is the golden age of science. And you know about Charles Darwin. In the year 1809 and 1882, he was an English naturalist who is famous for his theory of evolution by natural selection. This is the most important contribution of Charles Darwin. He conducted extensive research on plants and animals, including a 5-year voyage on the HMS Beagle. HMS Beagle, the ship. He went to a voyage and he discovered the evolution of man, and he classified the plants. And the another discoverer, Louis Pasteur, the germ theory. So, we come to, let us pass on to the 20th century. In the 20th century, the scientific discoveries and the inventions expanded the frontier of knowledge, and the contents and the interpretation, different contents and interpretation. And in the two world wars, about the First World War and the Second World War, these two world wars also expanded the frontiers of knowledge, and expanded in these periods, science expanded. The progress of medical science offered effective medicine in the medical science. Now, in the medical science, in the field of medical science, the effective medicine and the vaccine, blood transfusion. You have to note one thing, that is the discovery of circulation of blood by whom? That is William Harvey. From that, blood transfusion and the antibiotics in the field of medical science, effective medicines has come, effective vaccine has come, and the blood transfusion to one body to another body, and the antibiotics. By these progress of medical science, the epidemics like contagious diseases like plague, cholera, typhoid, and smallpox were gradually eliminated. The discovery of electromagnetic waves in the 20th century, the discovery of electromagnetic waves and their importance led to radio broadcast. That is, Marconi, Italian scientist, invented this radio, and the radio broadcast and transmission of television. Television was invented by Samuel Morse on multi-channel. That is in the field of information technology. What we had effect, that is in through the satellites, that is the rocket technology, and in the field of aviation, on every field, science has invaded the structure of all branches of knowledge. All branches means what? In the field of physics, and in the field of chemistry, and then in the field of biology. And so the science dominated, invaded means what? Dominated the structure of all branches of knowledge. The aviation, rocket technology, and space travel. These are all called as the marvels of modern science. Marvels, that is aviation. You know aviation, this aeroplanes discovered by the Wright brothers, and rocket technology. India had made vast progress in rocket technology and space travel. So for all these, the basis was in the history. The basis was in the history of science and technology. The information technology has brought revolutionary changes in almost all spheres of life. That is information technology. In a single chip, we had all information. Creation of communication network that led to free flow of knowledge. So the scientific progress is unending. Every day science is expanding. So it is unending and limitless. The science and technology have changed. From this video lecture, you will learn about this science and technology have changed man from the humble origins. Humble origins means once in the period, in the history, man lived in the caves. He led a barbarous life. After the discovery of fire, agriculture, and the use of water, he came to a settled life. That means humble origin of barbarous life to the complex achievement in the modern sophisticated life.